Hi, everybody. My name is Haley from ProWritingAid, and thank you so much for joining us for another session in the ProWritingAid series for writers. My guest today is Kimberly Montgomery. Kimberly is the Novlr co-founder and CEO. She had a career in the charity sector, digital development teams, and company operations before putting her experience to use building Novlr. Kim runs a spoken word poetry night in London, and her passion is creative writing. She builds Novlr and writes Novlr, making sure it is perfectly up to scratch. And if you're wondering what Novlr is, it is the leading novel writing platform for writers looking to focus their words. The beautiful writing interface, intuitive features, and focus on the needs of writers make it the go-to tool for your creative writing. Novlr works online and offline on desktop and mobile and can be accessed from anywhere. You can set goals, see your writing statistics, advanced grammar check with built-in ProWritingAid, and integrate with your favorite storage tools like Google Drive or Dropbox. And today, Kimberly is going to take us through all of those features. So with that, I will turn it over to you, Kimberly.
Great, thank you. Great to see everyone here. Thanks very much for inviting us. You've already done a great intro. I was going to say a little overview about Novlr, but that pretty much covers it. Our aim is to make the process and environment of writing as stripped back and as simple as possible so that you can focus on your words. So whilst Novlr is quite feature rich, it's really intuitively designed so that they are hidden away until the point at which you need them, which I'm obviously going to show you today. So I'm just going to dive right in. Haley, maybe you can confirm that you can see this, okay?
Yes, all good.
Yes. Okay. So this is Novlr. This is the writing screen. So this is where you'll do your writing. I'm working on a little novel called Alice's Adventures in Wonderland. This is what I've been doing today, right? Starting out with my first chapter. So I'm gonna tour around the features in a little bit more detail, but for now, I'll just quickly show you what we've got on the screen. So on the writing screen, there are two drawers on either side. On the left, we have our chapters and our notes, which I'm going to talk you through. There is a toolbar across the bottom, and I'll talk through those features shortly. And then on the right-hand side, we have our preferences and a link to the dashboard, which I'll just take you to quickly. And I'm going to talk you through all of these things shortly. So let's start with writing. So this is the writing screen. Like I said, stripped back, simple. The writing is very responsive, which is obviously important, and all of the formatting is in line, so you can just use your keyboard shortcuts for italic and things like that, just like you would on any other machine. You can also highlight the words, and then you can use the formatting here. So what we like to do is give you a little bit of control about simplifying Novlr even further. So I have chosen to only show bold and italic as the formatting on my toolbar because they're the only ones I use while I'm writing. But you'll see in your preferences here that you can choose to add other ones that you may be using. So I could add underline and strike through if they're things I might use in my novel, and then they're going to appear there too. But I just like to keep it super simple. You can take them all out if you're literally just writing, and it's just one less thing, isn't it? So this is the writing screen. So I'm going to show you the chapters. This is my first chapter, Down the Rabbit Hole. I have 4 chapters in here at the minute. Adding a chapter is very simple. You just click Add Chapter. I can't remember what the next chapter of Alice in Wonderland is, but I think it's something about the White Rabbit. We add that. The cursor's already ready, and you just start typing. So that keeps it, everything is very quick. We've worked a lot on the responsiveness of the app and the speed of loading over the years. And actually we've got another release going out in the beginning of December, which speeds all of this up even further. So that's if you're just typing away and adding your next chapter, but it may be that you have already written a chapter elsewhere that you need to import. So I'll quickly show you how you do that. When you add chapter, you have these 2 options, create, which we just did, and import. I think this one's called The Rabbit Sends in a Little Bill. Select the file. You can import lots of different file types, docx, ODT, TXT. So if, for example, you're coming to Novlr having already written a lot of your novel elsewhere, or if you just want to import your whole novel so that you can try it out, then you can just do this, import here. And then if you're worried about all of your novel being in one file, we have a split chapter feature. So this is the chapter we've just imported. But if I, in that toolbar, we've got this here is split chapter. So if you click that, your cursor then becomes a perforated line and you can choose where to split your chapter. So I'm just going to split it here, call the new one the other rabbit one. I mean, my version of this is all about the rabbit. And then this is our new chapter that's split the second half of the previous one. So then you'll see here that this one is now just a short chapter. So if you've got all of your novel in one file, then you can just go through and split each of them that way, and then you're ready to get going. So what shall I show you next? Let's have a look at the preferences. No, let's look at notes. So the chapters that we've just been working in are up here. That's our main novel. There's also a separate section in notes, which don't count towards your word counts and things. So in preloaded, we have general notes, which is just a little bit of advice about how to use Novlr, and then characters, which is actually like an interrogation guide to help you develop your characters. So this is preloaded. It's a little bit of advice about how to develop your characters. And then you can go ahead and add these sub chapters with all of your characters if that's how you want to organize your notes, or these can just be your general notes that you've recorded on a bus. These can be just imported from text files that you've randomly saved all over your computer over the years. So everything can just be dumped in there and then quickly referenced while you're writing your novel. So that's our notes. Let's put that away. And then okay, so first I'm going to show you two of our most loved features have actually come from user suggestions. So lots of our features are user requested. That's the way we like to develop, is that whatever our writers tell us they need, we'll build it as far as is humanly possible. And when we get to the stage of being able to fund it. And so these two top features are ones that came from users. And the first one is different modes for the time of day, that color themes. So we're in day mode at the moment, which is quite bright. And then if you, like many of our writers, write in the evening, you can switch to this evening mode, which is slightly easier on the eye. The text on the background is the perfect color for evening dim room light. And then if you're really nocturnal and write in the middle of the night, there's also night mode, which is darker still. So it's not going to distract anyone else, and it's not going to cause any glare. So these, you can just choose to, some people just love, for example, love the evening theme and keep that on all of the time. So it doesn't necessarily have to be the way that you use it is dependent on the time of day. It might be that there's a color theme that makes you more productive, and you can just stick with that one. So I'm just going to quickly switch to one of these other chapters. And then focus mode. So when you're writing, we've already stripped everything back. There is not much on the page. There's a toolbar at the bottom and the two drawers, but focus mode takes it one step further, and everything but the words disappears while you're typing. So if I switch this on and start typing, after a few seconds, then everything's going to disappear. Oh, so I'll show you that in a second. We also get these. It's really impressive to reach 2005 words in a day. Well done. So there's motivational pop-ups like that while you're typing to sort of keep you motivated, let you know how many you've done that day. People really enjoy that too. So let's see if we can get focus mode going. Let's get rid of this as well. So now it's just the words. And then as soon as you move the mouse like this, then it's back. I find using focus mode with F10, I think it is, which is making my browser full screen, is the way I get the most done. So focus mode on, F10, literally the only thing on the screen is my words. I can't see any of the toolbar at the bottom of my machine. I can't see any of the top of the Chrome. It's literally just us. That's definitely my favorite way to work. For editing, maybe you don't want that on because you might be like popping around doing different things all the time, but for while you're writing, it's perfect. There's a few other options on here. So I have paragraph indent turned on. That's just a personal preference. Again, that's come from our users. You can switch that off if that's not the way you like to write or like to export your work, but I keep that on. You can switch from having curly quotes to straight quotes. You can have chapter numbers on. So I don't have chapter numbers on right now. If you switch it on, it just has your chapter numbers along here. If that's the way if you use numbered chapters. So that's, again, personal preference. Font size, it's default 18 because we find that that's the best for the eyes for not having any glare, but of course it might be dependent on your screen size. You can have it very high if you need it to be, and obviously it does go much smaller. It's very small, so you would have to have a very high pixel device for it to be set at 10, but you know, whatever works for you. We've tried to design it so that you can alter all of these things to make Novlr basically the perfect environment for you. So that's our preferences. Let me show you our writing course. So if you are new to novel writing, or you're stuck, or you just want to learn something, we have Tim Clare's Couch to 80K course. So Tim Clare is an author, published author. He has a course called the Couch to 80K. It's 10 minutes a day over 8 weeks, and it's all within Novlr, so that you listen to the audio, and then the gap for your writing exercise is also in the audio. So there's no homework, you just listen to the audio, do the work, and then he comes back on again and chats to you. So I'll just quickly show you that. So this here is, the Zoom share screen, share button is right over the top of it, but the audio is at the top, and then each week you have these, as you can see, I've been busy writing these courses like this, and then when you click next on the for the next day, then a new chapter is created and your cursor is ready, and you just start typing away. And that's saved in your Novlr as another novel. So at any point you can go back to and just have a look at what you've been doing on your course, or you can continue it, or just keep to your other work. So that's the writing course. Now, once you've got to the point, maybe at the end of NaNoWriMo, if any of you are taking part in NaNoWriMo, or just when you get to the point of editing, then we have a few specific features that are really useful. So I'm just going to show you version history first. So if you make a mistake, if you delete lots of work, or if you change your mind about a direction of a chapter, we have version history down in the bottom left here. There are these two arrows. If you click this, you'll see all of the versions of this chapter that you've looked at. So when you're looking at versions, you can't edit the work, you have to choose to restore that version. So we could, for example, look at way back when I only had 7 words in this chapter. I can't edit that, I can look at it and then decide to restore this version. It just confirms here that restoring won't delete any other versions. So I'm just going to show you that. I'm going to restore this version. Now I just have 7 words in my novel, but if I go back, you'll see that this is the current version, but the one before has 301 words, and at any point I can go to that and restore the version again. So I'll do that because I don't want to lose all that hard work I've done today. So that's our versions, and then there are 2 main editing features that we use. One is powered by ProWritingAid, which is the proofreader. So that's included with Novlr, and it's inbuilt. And you can have it switched on or off. So you basically can be in writing mode, or you can switch on the proofreader when you're in editing mode, so that when you're writing, it's not distracting you. And the same with comments. So you can add comments to your work, and you can have them switched on for when you want to be looking at comments, and off when you're just trying to focus on the writing. So let's have a little look at the proofreader. So this is probably familiar to all of you, the coloring and the styling. This is ProWritingAid. It works in exactly the same way as you'll be used to it working. So if I hover on here, I can see the suggestion and I can choose to change it. I mean, this is suggestions on Lewis Carroll's work. Nobody is perfect. So let's take out actually. I spelled that wrong because I was in a hurry. Yeah, I forgot a full stop. So you can just quickly make all of those changes. And if you have like a strange named character or not conventional named character like Holly Boop, you can also add that to your dictionary so that it's not going to keep showing that up. So once you've done that, you've gone through your ProWritingAid, you might want to add some comments. So I'm going to switch ProWritingAid off and then comments on. So we're still in evening mode, which is fine, but I'm just going to switch back to day mode. see, it looks so bright once you've been in evening mode. So this is day mode. The comments are on. So if I hover, if I click, you can see the comment I made. So I've got a comment on sister that says maybe I could give her a name here. I've got a comment on waistcoat pocket that says check if this is definitely hyphenated. And to add comments, you just click on a word and add a comment. This is probably quite familiar from other editing softwares you might have used, like Google Docs. So I don't even know what I clicked on there, but some other comment here. Add the comment, and then that's going to show. So if you have comments switched off and you're in the middle of your writing, you can still add a comment and it will switch the comments on for you. So if you're just writing, and then decide, you know, should they disappear or vanish? And then you can come back to that later and resolve it. So that's commenting. And then once you've done that, you've done your writing, you've done your proofreading, you've done your commenting, then you're pretty much ready to, you know, export, send it off to somebody. Collaboration tools actually is something we're currently planning, which is collaborating with editors and beta readers and things. The features that we have at the minute are, I'll show you in Novels. There are two main ways to share your work. There is share, which will create a public shareable link. So if I switch this on, again, this works in a very similar way to other software you might be used to link sharing with. So it just creates a link for you, copy to the clipboard. Hopefully you can see this new tab. And then you get this public link. So it's got the title, it's got your name and the chapter list, and then you can just skip down if you want or read through the whole thing. Yeah, that's the shareable link. You can then obviously when you want to switch back to editing or you're no longer happy to be sharing it, then you can just switch that off again. So that's sharing online, and you can just share that link as widely as you like, or you can export your novels. So there are a couple of options here. You can include your notes if it's, you know, if it's for yourself, or not if it's, you know, for an editor or whatever. You can show subchapter headings. I forgot to show you subchapters. I'll show you those in a second. So you can show subchapter headings or hide them if you're using that feature more as a scene feature. So you could create subchapters, and that would be like each different scene in a chapter. Then you might want to not include the headings because that might just be a personal planning method rather than something that you want in the novel. So you can export in any of these formats, and then you get it. Everything's very quick. It's pretty immediate there. You have your page breaks for each chapter, and actually just outlined we're going to include a title page as well for this export. I think so one of the users suggested that would be nice, which I completely agree with. So yeah, that's how you would share your novel. And like I said, there are tools on the roadmap that we will be adding as well with collaborating with editors. It's quite a complex one, but I think it's really important. So that's coming. So I'm just going to quickly show you a subchapter. So if I decide that these two actually should be subchapters, I can just indent them here. And then you can oops, click that, and then you can just switch it back. So like I said, you can use that as subchapters if that's the kind of book you have, or you can create subchapters that you view as scenes, because when you export them, you can just not include the headings and they'll just sit right alongside each other anyway. Okay, so I think we are pretty good on all of the writing, editing, and sharing features. Now there's okay, let's move on to publishing. So you can also publish to ebook. This is an area that we're expanding at the moment, the publishing section. So you can publish to ebook, which we'll be adding more options to soon. And then we're also looking at routes into traditional publishing and self-publishing, and all of which could be managed from Novlr. So that's exciting stuff that's coming. For now, you can export to EPUB. Again, it's very quick, very easy. And even though this is new software to lots of you, it's designed in a way that using modern designs, modern technologies, and conventions, that everything should be very straightforward. You don't need to do any manuals. You just you know, you can see, you pick the drop down, you fill this in, you don't even have to have a subtitle or cover art. You download it, it downloads. Everything is designed to be extremely straightforward. And that's really important to us. So that's publishing. Let's have a look at goals. Another community inspired feature. So people wanted to be able to track what they've been writing and writing streaks, set goals and things. So you can set a daily goal. I have a low goal to write 200 words a day, which I haven't quite hit today yet. I've still got 100 words to write, but yesterday I did. So I'm on a 1-day streak. If I finish those 100 words, then I'll achieve my 2-day streak. And the monthly goal, I've set 50,000 words on Through the Looking Glass is my monthly goal. So what this is showing me is the percentage of words I've completed of my goal and the percentage of through the month that we are. So I've got 29% of the words, but we're 36 of the way through the month. So I need to be looking at increasing my word counts so that I reach that goal. I basically want to be tacking those two together as far as possible. Now on the analytics page, we have what you've written today, what you've written this month, what you've written this year, including what you've imported and pasted in. The time spent writing today, this month, this year, and then there's a little about your productivity, when you like to write and what your average words per day is. So my average words per day is 261 words per day, or 523 if I include my days off. So this section actually is another one that we're always in constant development. There's always new features coming, and no area of the site is the final product. It's always going to be getting better. The analytics, we are going to be adding graphs, we're going to be adding time ranges. And just as far into the future as we can possibly see is that when we're able, we'll improve something. Everything can be improved upon. So that's also a really important part of our ethos, is it's constantly improving, and it's constantly improving based on what our users are telling us they want. So I think nearly the last thing to show you, the last of the features anyway, is the integrations. So you can set up Dropbox or Google Drive. I'm not going to do these now because they require an authentication, which I'm not going to put on this video, but if you click to this, then it will ask you to confirm your email address and then authenticate. Again, that's probably familiar from other softwares where you're giving access to saving to Google Drive or something. NaNoWriMo, which is a feature we've just added, will sync your NaNoWriMo word count to NaNoWriMo. So you just put your username and password in, pick which novel you're tracking, and then it syncs every day. Or there's also a forced sync button that you can just sync whenever you're done writing. Integrations, all of these have come from what users have told us they want, and if users tell us there are more integrations that could be really useful, great, we can't wait to hear them. Our users always have amazing ideas, and like they're in there so much that they really understand the things that would sort of make it that one step simpler. So we love to hear from them. Let's see. So I think the only things left are just managing your account. Again, it's all pretty straightforward. You can see your trial. I have 13 free days left in my trial. You can edit your details here. There's a couple of settings you can change. And then you can see here that Novlr is a subscription service. So it's $10 a month if you pay each month, or $8.33 if you pay per year, which is around £6.50 for the UK contingent. We are offering a 20% discount for everyone on this webinar with the promo code PWA, which I'll share at the end as well. So you'll even get 20% off these prices as well. That's valid until the end of the month. So this is where you'll manage your account. And then if you ever need help, oh, something's flashing. Oh, no, I think it's a chat. Hayley, you'll tell me if you need me to do something.
Oh yeah, we're all good.
Okay. So the best way to contact us is in-app chat, which is this here. You can just start a conversation and chat to Claire, usually, who is our amazing customer support manager. She's incredible. She'll reply as quickly as possible. She'll help you with anything that you need to learn, any suggestions you might have. Yeah, she's the person. That's definitely the best way to get in touch with us. You can also email. We don't recommend Twitter and Facebook for like bug reports or anything, and especially not if there's anything urgent. But to chat to us, to make feature suggestions, social media is great. But for general chat about the app, the in-app chat is the best. So I think we're pretty much covered everything here. Let me just have a look. Yeah, I think I mentioned it's a free 2-week trial. So you've got 2 weeks to have a play and see how you like it. This works on any device. So if you're on a browser, if you're in a tablet or on mobile. I mean, I didn't know that people would write whole novels on a mobile, but people tell us that they write exclusively on mobile. But if you just are on the way to work and you have some thoughts, you can jot them down on your mobile. And also it works offline. So if you have this loaded up and you lose connection, it will save offline until you get back your connection, and then we'll sync back to online. So there's not really any excuses anymore. It works on any device, it works offline. We've kind of made it too easy for you to be productive, not have any excuses, and that really is the aim. So I think I've covered everything, but please, oh no, let me just quickly show you this little feature. So this down here just tells you the number of words in this chapter, but if you click it, you can also just have a quick look at some of your other stats, how many are in this novel, how many you've written today across all your novels. So yeah, that's nice. And this tells you when you've saved. So if I'm typing, in fact, it's worth looking, you'll see that it says it's saving, and then it will say saved once it's saved. There you go. So yeah, I think, Hayley, I think that's everything. Happy to answer as many questions as people have. I'm going to stop sharing my screen for now, and then I'll share it if I need to.
All right, great. Yeah, so please feel free to use the Q&A box at the bottom if you have any questions for Kimberly, and I put the sign up link and the code PWA in the chat if anyone needs that. Okay, so question from Barb says, can you work on more than one writing piece or novel at a time, I'm assuming?
Yes, so I'll just quickly show you that. Sorry if that wasn't clear. So I'm currently working on 3. I have Alice's Adventures in Wonderland, which, you know, I'm making good progress on. I've got Through the Looking Glass, which I think is going to be a big hit. And then I'm also working on my writing course. You can have as many novels as you want. We're also going to be adding a feature to archive old ones. So if, like, someone got in touch the other day saying they have 32 novels in Novlr, which is extremely prolific, and could they archive some so that they're not all showing in the screen. So we'll also be adding the ability to archive ones that you're either not working on anymore or don't need to look at very often.
Amazing. Tana says, how does this compare to Scrivener?
So lots of the main features are the same. Scrivener's main difference is that it's a desktop app. So you can have Scrivener on one device, and then yeah, I guess pay for new licenses for other devices, or if you're, you know, somewhere else on someone else's machine or in an internet cafe, then you can't access it. So the biggest difference, I suppose, is that it's available anywhere, wherever you are in the world. You can just pick up a phone, laptop, machine, and then you have it available. You just log in. The other difference, I would say, is the simplicity of it. Scrivener can be extremely complex, and you can do whole courses just to figure out how to use it to do the basic things of writing your novel. So the aim of Novlr has always been to log in and immediately you can start writing. You don't have to do any courses. You don't have to train on the software itself. The software is designed to learn to just take your words, and everything else is intuitive. Everything else you need is where you would expect it to be. So I suppose they're the main differences.
Great. So a couple of follow-up questions on that. Tana also asks, can you import from Scrivener? So it looks like you can import from Word. Could you also import Scrivener files?
Yeah, not Scrivener files. They're extremely niche. However, in Scrivener, I believe you can export to doc files or text files. So you can export from Scrivener in any file format that's not Scrivener file, and then import into Novlr.
Great. And then one final question from Tana. If I share a link to my novel, will people who don't have Novlr be able to see it?
Yes, so it's a public link. So it's not crawled by search engines, so no one will be able to necessarily like search for it. But it's a public link, so anyone you give it to will be able to see it, and there'll be a login or sign up on the top right if you're not logged in to say like, would you also like to join Novlr? Whatever. But it basically, how you saw me looking at it, even though I'm logged in, is exactly how someone who doesn't have a Novlr account would see it. They never have to sign up. They just, yeah, they can see it in exactly the same way, and then you can just turn it off when you're done.
Awesome. Okay, Christopher says, will you be adding plot cards and plot lines?
Yeah, yes. So this comes up a lot from the community because it's a really important step in the writing. It's also a big undertaking and something that everybody does really differently. People plan really differently and have different requirements, but it is really important. So we're currently in the research phase. We've just recently, if any of you are already on Novlr, you'll see we've recently done some research with our users about how they work. So we're trying to figure out the best way of doing that, and also without cluttering the app. So yes, definitely. And we're also applying for some big funding these last few months and in the coming months. So the next big thing we would love to add is planning tools, and the form that takes is dependent on what our users tell us they want. So yeah, plot cards. It might be linear sort of chronology planning. It might be sort of sticky notes, but that's the thing that people have a really different process for, and we're trying to figure out the best, most intuitive, perfectly designed way of doing that.
Awesome. Cliff asks, are the notes global or are they specific to each novel?
They are novel. They're set at a novel level. So there aren't any global notes. They would have to be within a novel. That reminds me actually of another feature that's coming up. We're pretty busy at the minute, is that we're going to add the ability to add notes at a chapter level. So even though you have these notes, oh, can you still see my screen? Yes. Even though you have these notes, we are going to have it so that on a chapter, you'll also be able to expose notes specific to this chapter, because people have said that when they're typing, they have basically like a really rough edit or a sort of just an outline of what's going to happen in that chapter, and even switching between the notes and then that chapter is you know, one other step that we could avoid if we include the notes specific to a chapter at the top, that they can then hide when they're not using them and expose when they do need to use them, and not be there at all if you're not using them, of course.
Amazing. All right, those were all of our questions. We do have a little bit more time, so if anyone has any more, feel free to drop them in the chat or Q&A. While I'm giving everyone that time, I will drop the sign up, so you can use the link I shared to sign up for Novlr, and then the code ProWritingAid to get a little bit of a discount too.
Code PWA to get the discount.
PWA, yeah, sorry. I wrote it right, I just said it wrong. Yeah, so you can sign up for an account there to try it out, and use the code PWA to get a discount. And as Kimberly said, I think there's a 2-week free trial if you need to. Awesome.
Yeah.
Great.
And if any of you have any questions after, please feel free to email me at kim@novlr.org, or sign up. And in the in-app chat, you can ask Claire to chat to me, and I'll hop on there. Yeah, and even if anyone has any ideas for the next features that you would like to see, or yeah, we love to hear that stuff. So
yeah, I feel like that's one of the reasons why we love Novlr so much, is we're also very like, okay, customers tell us what you want to see, and it's just so great to see companies that are just so, you know, writer responsive to really trying to make this the most useful possible tool.
Yeah, it's the only way to make it the most useful tool, you know. It's like, this is who it's for.
Yep.
So yeah, it is important to us.
Yep. All right, well, I think those are all the questions that we had.
Great.
Thank you so much,
everyone.
Kimberly. It's been great to have you. And everyone, we will send out the replay for this after. Again, please do sign up for a Novlr account or email Kimberly at kim@novlr.org if you have any questions, or just ask for her in the chat. And yeah, thank you so much for coming, Kim. We'll talk to you soon.
You're so welcome. Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye.